Welcome you all to this new lesson of circuit theory. Today we'll be discussing about nodal analysis or node voltage method. So before starting our today's discussion, let me tell you what we discussed in last few classes and why shall we study nodal analysis method. In last few classes we discussed about Kirchhoff's current law and voltage law and applied these two laws, Kirchhoff's current law and voltage law, together to solve electric network. So what do you mean by solution of electric network? This is nothing but determination of voltages or current for a particular branch. If we have a complex circuit, then current divider or voltage divider rule will not be directly applicable for those complex circuits. So we must opt for Kirchhoff's laws. Now, Kirchhoff's law applies Kirchhoff's current law and voltage law together, and that process is a bit lengthy for very complex circuit. If we go on solving those circuits using Kirchhoff's law, it would be a bit difficult to solve because the process would be a bit lengthy. Now, depending on different types of circuits, we may apply nodal analysis, we may apply Kirchhoff's laws, we may apply some other methods such as mesh analysis, or later you'll be studying about network theorems such as Thevenin, Norton, superposition, all those theorems. So depending on type of circuit, you must opt for one network analysis tool. So today we'll be discussing about nodal analysis, which is a method of determining current through a particular branch or voltage across a particular branch, and this analysis method will be applicable in most of the circuits, in all kind of circuits, but it is necessary for us to understand for which circuit nodal analysis would be suitable, for which circuit mesh analysis would be suitable, likewise. So today we'll be discussing about nodal analysis, and we will study how what is nodal analysis method, how can we solve electric networks using nodal analysis methods, what are the steps involved, and later we'll be solving some example with the help of nodal analysis method. So let us start with the topics to be discussed today. We'll be discussing first the basics of nodal analysis method. What are the basics of nodal analysis method? Then we'll discuss about its explanation, that is, how can we explain nodal analysis methods, what are the steps involved to solve an electric network using nodal analysis method. There is one important point, that is concept of supernode. There are some certain circuits for which nodal analysis method directly cannot be applied until you understand the concept of supernode method, concept of supernode. So what is supernode, that will be discussed, and later will be validating our steps that discussed in explanation part with the help of one example. So let us move forward to the basics of nodal analysis method. So as I already said, it is a circuit analysis method. That means by using nodal analysis method, you could be able to determine voltage across a branch or current through a particular branch. So this is a circuit analysis method which is used to determine circuit variables such as voltages or currents for a particular branch in terms of node voltages. So what is node voltage? That we'll be discussing in later slide. This method works on the principle of Kirchhoff's current law. So this is nothing but this nodal analysis method is nothing but application of Kirchhoff's current law. So let us now discuss the explanation of this method. See, here we have seen few steps are written. These steps can be followed to solve any numerical on electric circuit. Suppose you have been given one complex electric circuit and you are asked to get solution for that electric circuit, that means determination of current or voltage for a particular branch. You must follow these steps to get the solution. So what are these steps? For any complex electric network, first step for nodal analysis method is to identify and mark all the nodes. What are the nodes that you need to identify first? So concept of node is already discussed in first few classes of circuit theory. You may go through those classes to get understand what is node. Next is select a reference node. For example, what is reference node? Suppose I am 5 feet 7 inch tall. Now, if I stand on a tool or on a chair, my height will be around 8 feet 9 feet. So am I having that much height? No. As I have stood on a tool or chair, so my height will be added up with the height of the chair, height of the base of the chair. So it is important while uh, talking about my height, it is important to choose a reference. What is the reference? Reference should be the ground. Okay. Now, similarly, whenever you are working on nodal analysis method, you must work on node voltages. So node voltages should be measured in terms of a reference node. That reference node should be generally at ground potential or zero potential. With the help of example, it would be more clear to you. So we have to choose a reference node. That reference node should be at ground potential, and all the node voltages should be measured in terms of that ground potential. Okay. Next part is assume voltages of each node. As I said, node voltages is to be measured as with respect to ground potential or reference node. So we need to assume voltage of each node with respect to ground potential. Next, we must apply KCL in each node. Once KCL is applied in each node, for each node we will have one KCL equation. Now, those KCL equations will be in terms of currents, branch currents. Now, all those currents in next step, all those currents of KCL equation should be replaced in terms of node voltages. And later we need to solve the equation and find the currents. Now, these are the steps which is being written here. Now we'll follow each step one by one with the help of a circuit. Let us come to this circuit. Our first point was to mark and identify all the node terminals, all the nodes. Step one is identify and mark all the nodes. So see here, node means a junction at which or from which two or more branches are entering or leaving. So at A node, A node is connected with, in A node, there are two branches getting connected. So this could be considered as a node. Similarly, at B, this is A. At B, there are three branches entering or leaving, whatever it is. Now there is another node C, and there is one node E. Now see. So we have marked, identified all the nodes. We have marked all the nodes like A, B, C, and E. Next is select a reference node. The reference node is generally at ground potential. So what is reference node here? See, for any voltage source, suppose this is a 10-volt source. This implies the positive electrode should be at 10 and this negative electrode should be at 0. For DC sources, this should be 0. The negative electrode should be at ground potential or 0. So this point, suppose this is a node. This node A is having 10 volt with respect to this ground point. Voltage should be measured in between 2 points. Now, this voltage should be measured for a particular point with respect to the ground terminal. Ground terminal G is generally at 0 potential. So here see, this E node is connected with negative electrode or negative terminal of supply. This negative terminal of supply, as I mentioned, is generally at ground potential or 0 potential. So let us assume this E node as reference node or ground node. So if you want to measure voltage at this node voltage should be measured with respect to ground potential. So you must connect a multimeter or a voltmeter between these two. This voltmeter will read voltage at point B. Similarly, suppose you want to measure voltage at point C, you must connect a voltmeter with respect to this ground E, ground terminal E, or ground node or reference node E. So whatever voltage of a particular node is to be measured, that should be measured with respect to the ground potential or the reference node. So reference node is to be chosen, and these are other nodes. Now next point is assume voltage of each node. So how can what are the voltages of each node? How can we assume that? See, suppose this is one independent source having 5 volt. So this is at ground potential. So voltage at this node, suppose this is a node, voltage at this node should be 5 volt with respect to this ground. So voltage of node A is known because this independent source voltage is already given here. Similarly, based on that fact, voltage at node A is known to us because it is given by V1. So V1 is magnitude of voltage at node A. So we need not to assign any voltage at node A, or you can assign voltage at node A is V1. Similarly, voltage at node C need not to be assigned because voltage at node C is clearly seen, it is V2. Let now see, this voltage is V1. Suppose this is A node, this is 10 volt. Now voltage at node A is 10 volt because A node is shorted with this 10 volt. Now what is voltage at node B? For a simple circuit like this, suppose this is 10 volt, this is 1 ohm, and this is another 1 ohm. Now, voltage at this node A is 10 volt. Acha. What is current flowing through this branch? What is current through this branch? Total resistance is 1 plus 1, 2 ohm. 10 divided by 2 is 5 ampere current is flowing. Suppose this is B node. Now, as 5 ampere current is flowing through this path, so at this point we have 10 volt. When 5 ampere current is flowing through this 1 ohm resistance, there will be a 5 into 1, that is 5 volt drop. So remaining 5 volt will appear here. Simple KVL is being applied here, or simple Ohm's law is applied here. So voltage at B point will be 5 volt, because when 5 ampere current is flowing through this 1 ohm, when 5 ampere current is flowing through 1 ohm, there will be 5 volt drop in this resistor. So total voltage was 10 volt. 5 volt is dropped at 1 ohm. So remaining 5 volt, 10 minus 5 will be 5. So remaining 5 volt will appear at B point. So potential at B point will be 5 volt. So whenever potential of B point is to be measured, what we need to know? We need to know what is the current flowing through this 1 ohm. Until and unless we know the current flowing through this 1 ohm, we don't know what should be the voltage drop in 1 ohm. If voltage drop in 1 ohm is not known to us, voltage at point B is not known. So if this I1 current is not known to us, value of I1 current is not known to us, then voltage drop across R1 will not be known to us. Voltage at point B, VB, should be, there was V1 volt initially, minus, if V is voltage drop across point B, then VB should be V1 minus V. Remaining voltage should appear here. So until V1 is known to us, until this V is known to us, we cannot determine VB. So based on that fact, we need to assume some voltage at B point. This is assumed voltage at B point, which is needed to be determined. So voltage at A point is known to us because this is straight away connected to the positive of V1. So if this is V1 voltage, A point should have V1 voltage because it is shorted. Similarly, if this is V2 voltage, C point will have the same V2 voltage. But as this voltage drop is not known due to unknown current I1, VB is not known to us. So we'll assume voltage at this node. Okay. So as per step 3, assume voltages of each node. So node A and C voltages are known to us. Voltage at B point is to be assumed. Step 4 says apply KCL in each node. So if we apply KCL in each node, see, we have distributed current in all the branches as we wish. If your assumed direction is wrong, then we will get negative value of current. So negative current implies the actual current direction should be in opposite to the assumed direction. So we have assumed current in all the direction. Now you'll have to apply KCL in each node. Especially, you need to apply KCL in those nodes for which voltage is assumed. See, voltage at point A is known, Voltage at point C is known. Voltage at point B is not known to us. So we'll apply KCL at node B. So if we apply KCL at node B, what will be KCL equation? I1 equals to I2 plus I3. Okay. So there'll be only one equation. There'll be only one KCL equation. Okay. So as per this KCL equation, what can we say? We have three unknowns, but we have only one equation. So how can we solve this equation? We cannot get solution for I1, I2, I3, all these three unknowns from one equation. That is why we need to follow next step. Replace currents. As per step 5, replace currents of KCL equation in terms of node voltages. So what will we do? We'll replace all these currents in the KCL equation in terms of node voltages. So what would be I1? It's very simple. For example, suppose this is 10 volt at this node. Suppose this node voltage is 2 volt and say this is 5, say this is 4 ohm. So current through this branch. What should be current through this branch? As per Ohm's law, current should be VA minus VB, that is 10 minus 2 divided by resistance, VA minus VB by R, so which is equals to 2 ampere. Based on this simple fact of Ohm's law, we can determine I1. I1 is flowing from A point to B point. I1 is flowing in between A and B. So A point is having a V1 voltage, which will generally be given in numerical. A point is having V1 voltage, which is known, and voltage at B point is not known to us. So VA minus VB divided by R1. Similarly, what is I2? I2 equals to, I2 is flowing from B to C. So B point is having voltage of VB. C point is having voltage of VC divided by R2. Clear? Similarly, I3 will be I3 is flowing from B to E. E is at ground potential, means 0 volt. So I3 can be written as I3 is flowing from B to E. B point is having VB voltage minus E point is having 0 volt divided by R3. Now see, if we substitute these I1, I2 and I3 values in equation 1, what can we say? V1 is known, V2 is not known. R1 is resistance value. For a particular circuit, this R1 will be given. So R1 is known. VB is not known. VB is assumed, na? So VB is not known to us. It is assumed. VC is equals to what? VC equals to V2. So VC is known. VB unknown. R2 known. R3 known. So in these three equations, only VB is unknown. So if you substitute I1, I2 and I3 in equation 1, What will we get? We'll get only one unknown. We have only one equation. So one known unknown can be calculated from one equation. So that is why, as per step 5, we need to uh, replace all these branch currents in terms of node voltages. Okay, once this is done, you can get solution for the node voltage. Okay, now if you are asked to determine current through R3, so current through R3, once VB is known from this equation, now once VB is known, current I3 can be calculated. VB by R3, R3 is known, VB is now known to us, I3 can be calculated. Similarly, I2, I1 all could be calculated. So this is known as voltage nodal analysis method. Similarly, another problem is given with current source. See here, voltage at this point is not known to us. No voltage source is connected here. Voltage at this point is not known to us. Okay, so for equation for this node 1, let us assume any direction of current. This is, say this is I1, say this is I2, say this is I3. Any direction of current could be assumed. So for node 1, 5 equals to, for node 1, 5 equals to what? I1 plus I2 as per KCL at node 1. Voltage at node 1 is, say, V1. Voltage at node 2 is, say, V2. This is one KCL equation. Another KCL equation could be obtained for 2. That is, I2 is entering, 10 is entering. So I2 plus 10 equals to, at from node 2, I3 and 5 are leaving. So you have two KCL equations. Now I1, I2, I3 can be represented in terms of V1 and V2. So from two equations, we can solve two unknowns, V1 and V2. Okay, that is how we can solve it. Now let us move to concept of supernode. See, what is I1? I1 is V1 minus V2 divided by 2. So current through this branch could be calculated as per Ohm's law. Current through this branch will be V2 minus 0 by 8. Now what should be current through this branch? What should be current through this branch? There is no resistance connected in between these two nodes. So as no resistance is connected, so we cannot, current could be determined by this formula, VA minus VB by R. As there is no resistance connected between node 2 and 3, so this rule could not be applied to find current through this branch. So if we have one such branch consisting of voltage source between two nodes, then calculation of current through this branch could not be determined using conventional way. So in that case, what we'll do, we'll consider this together as a super node. Okay, so as per this super node, this as a whole, this red circle shows this is as a whole a single node. So for this single node, see I1 entering, I2 leaving, I3 leaving. If this red is considered as single node, I1 is entering, I2 leaving, I3 leaving, and I4 entering. So for this super node, I1 entering, I4 entering. that should be equals to I2 leaving, I3 leaving. Okay, so this is concept of supernode. If there are two nodes and in between those two nodes one voltage is connected without having any resistance, in that case we need to consider these two nodes in between which the voltage source is connected as a single node, and we can apply KCL at that supernode accordingly, like this. This is concept of supernode. Now let us solve this example. For this example, see, this is a current source. So voltage at node 1 is not known. So let us assume this voltage as V1. Similarly, voltage at this node is not known. Voltage at this node is not known. So we have three unknown voltage nodes. So first point is mark and identify all the nodes. So we have marked all the nodes as 1, 2, 3. Then choose the reference node. We have chosen this 0 or O as reference node, which is at ground potential as assumed. Next point is assume voltages of each node. So voltage at node 1 is assumed to be V1. See here, this voltage is assumed V1, this voltage is V2, this voltage is V3. Then we have distributed current in all the branches as we wish. As we desire, we can distribute current in any direction. Next step is apply KCL at each node. So let us apply KCL at node 1. So applying KCL at node 1, what will be KCL equation? At node 1, 3 is entering, 3 ampere is entering, this current is entering, I1 and IX are leaving. So 3 equals to I1 plus IX as per KCL at node 1. Similarly, at node 2, IX is entering, I3 leaving, I2 leaving. So IX equals to I2 plus I3. At node 2, IX equals to I2 plus I3. Similarly, at node 3, I2 entering, I1 entering, 2IX leaving. I1, I2 entering, 2IX leaving. Okay. So these three equations we have got applying KCL in each node. Next step is what? As we have three equations, three KCL equations, but how many unknowns? I1, IX, I2, I3, 4 unknowns, 3 equations cannot be solved. So what will we do? We will convert all these currents I1, IX, I2, I3 in terms of node voltages V1, V2 and V3. So converting this in terms of node voltages, 3 equals to I1. I1 is flowing between V1 and V3. I1 is flowing like this, isn't it? So as I1 is flowing through 4 ohm from V1 to V3, so this would be equation for I1, V1 minus V3 divided by 4. Similarly, Ix will be V1 minus V2 by 2. At now by solving this, you will get this equation. Give it equation number 1. Similarly, Ix is equals to V1 minus V2 by 2. Ix is V1 minus V2 by 2 as we discussed. I3 will be V2 minus 0 by 4. So I3 is V2 minus 0 by 4. I2 is V2 minus V3 by 8. V2 minus V3 by 8. So you have got this equation. Similarly, substituting the values of I1, I2 and Ix, we will get another equation. So we have 3 equations. Now see V1, V2, V3. These 3 are unknowns and 3 equations. So we can use method of elimination to get solution for V1, V2, V3 from these three equations, or you can simply apply Cramer's rule. So if we go for Cramer's rule, equation 1, 2, and 3 should be represented in terms of matrix. So see here, for equation 1, coefficient of V1, V2, V3 are 3, minus 2, minus 1. So 3, minus 2, minus 1 will be in first row. Similarly, for second equation, minus 4 plus 7 minus 1. Minus 4 plus 7 minus 1. For third one, 2 minus 3 plus 1. 2 minus 3 plus 1. So variables are V1, V2, V3, V1, V2, V3 equals to, in right side of three equations is 12, 0, 0. So 12, 0, 0. As we discussed in Cramer's rule, determinant of this matrix will be del. So del is determinant of this matrix, which is found to be 10. Similarly, del 1 will be, how can we find del 1? In del, while finding del 1, in del, replace this first column by right side of the right side matrix. So first column is replaced by 12, 0, 0, and remaining 2 of the del will be same. Similarly, while finding V2, replace second column. Second column is replaced by right hand side. Similarly, while finding del 3, third column will be replaced. So what we found? We found del 1, del 1, del 2, del 3. Now V1 will be equals to, as per Cramer's rule, del 1 by del, V2 del 2 by del, and V3 del 3 by del. So we found V1, V2, V3 like this. So once V1, V2, V3, once V1, V2, V3 are found, now see, I1 is V1 minus V3 by 4. So once V1, V2, V3 are found, I1 will be found, IX, I2, I3 all will be found accordingly. So you can find current through each branch using this rule. Now once current through each branch is known, if we are asked to find current voltage across this 4 ohm. So voltage across this 4 ohm will be 4 into I3, because through this 4 ohm, I3 current is flowing. So this is how you can get the solution using nodal analysis. So this is up to this. Today we discussed about nodal analysis, basics of nodal analysis. We discussed all the steps involved. We solved numerical help with the help of those steps. We discussed the concept of supernode. In next class, we'll be discussing about another powerful tool of circuit analysis, that is mesh analysis. Nodal analysis is applied using Kirchhoff's current law. Mesh analysis will be applicable using Kirchhoff's voltage law. So what is mesh analysis, we'll be discussing in next class. So as of now, we are ending up here. Meet you all in next class. Thank you all.